Hey everybody, Josh Sigurdson of World Alternative Media here, and of course we're joined by author and economic analyst here at WAM, John Sneisen, and a lot of you are noticing Bitcoin is unbelievably skyrocketing, and I mean unbelievable at this moment as we shoot this video on the 7th of December 2017. It's 16,497 US dollars, was up to about 16,900 US dollars earlier. By the time this video's out, it's either way up or way down. We'll explain a little bit to you right now on why this is happening, because there is a story behind it, and there's more than one story, there's more than one reason. But first, John, can you go into what you have here?
Yeah, well, this morning, actually, I think it was about 9 o'clock in the morning, I put together a predictive chart of what could be the potential future price of Bitcoin and a couple other currencies. I did Monero, Litecoin, Steam, Ethereum, and a couple others. What I found, and just funny, like talking about the price, how much it skyrocketed since 9 a.m. this morning. Well, it was 15,437 when I did the chart. So it's gone up $1,000 just within.
To make it clear, it was at about 6,000 at the beginning of November. It doubled, and now it's gone far above doubling. It's almost about to triple in 1 month.
Oh yeah, it's just insane, like how fast it's gone. I didn't doubt that it was going to happen.
Yeah, none of us did.
It's just gone so fast, it's ridiculous.
Well, we've been talking about this for a long time, John, and people laughed at us, and I hate to take vindication, but this is one case where vindication is, for us, is actually good, because usually when we're talking about vindication, it's really bad news. But this is good news, but there's more to it. So, John, can you go into this analysis?
So what I did is I put together a real good chart of how much, is the global market cap, so different markets. I looked at silver, the world's 6 biggest companies, 50 richest people. I did the state of California's GDP, the Fed's balance sheet, which I like. It's insider humor, of course. The world forex markets, gold, S&P 500. Then I did M1 globally. I did M2, M3, the global stock markets.
Derivatives, high
real estate,
and low.
And then I did derivatives, the high and low end of it. So what I did is I took those market caps, and then I showed, well, what if Bitcoin hit that market cap? This was, I said, in 2019 on my article here. When you look at what Bitcoin needs in 2019 to hit those price targets, for example, we had Mr. John McAfee predicting 500, or else he will eat his dick
on national television. And because he predicted 5,000 by the end of the year and it went up to 10,000, he said, well, actually, now that I think of it, it'll be 1 million by that time, or I'll do that on national television. Now it's gone far and beyond.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. But to make it to 1 million, we need Bitcoin to go up substantially. It needs to hit, I'm looking at my numbers here, probably hit about between $15 to $17 trillion in market capitalization to hit 1 million. But think about this too. What I haven't been calculating into my chart, and I talk about it a little bit if you look on Steemit under the economic truth, I talk about also the potential for inflation, because we know our fiat currencies are failing. So who knows, that price, it could suddenly be a market cap of 800 quadrillion at the time. Who knows what will happen in the next years.
All fiat currencies eventually revert to their intrinsic value of zero. They always have, always will. And this is one of the biggest reasons why Bitcoin is growing at the rate that it is, as well as people pulling out of the bond markets, etc., derivatives. You mentioned you have on your chart the derivatives high end is how much is that? 1.2 quadrillion?
Yeah, quadrillion, yeah.
So a big reason why Bitcoin's climbing like that is for that reason, the centralization of fiat currency that's debt-based garbage, and then you compare it to Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is decentralized. There will only ever be 21 million coins in existence by the year 2140. So that gives it scarcity and demand. And what does gold and silver have? Scarcity and demand. There's not a lot of it on this planet. So that is one of the big things that's adding to its market. Then, of course, there's application. But what we are seeing right now is the beginning of mass adoption. So it's not just that, but I'll get into more soon. But there is a massive amount of people getting into Bitcoin, not just crypto anarchists like nerds that are
That
on.
period is over, yeah.
No, it's gone on to, and don't take offense by this, but soccer moms, by 9-to-5 working fathers, by teenagers that they look at the pension schemes around the world and they say, I'm never going to have a pension. I'd better put money into this.
If you put a little bit of money of your pension into Bitcoin, and it's just make sure that you invest what you can risk to lose. But think about it, they make on their bonds. A lot of people that are older, they want to retire, they make on their bonds zero, maybe 2 to 0%. So looking at Bitcoin, it's like, Bitcoin went up over 1,000% this year.
Yeah.
Hey, hang on a minute. I think it's a little bit better than this debt-based US dollar to invest in.
Yeah. With that said, I would suggest that people get most of their Bitcoin off of the online exchanges. It's in a time like this, I just wouldn't want to take any risk with that. It's vulnerable. You could look at the Nano S Ledger wallet and stuff like that.
Always keep it in offline wallets. That's the safest one, because we never know when that next Mt. Gox moment could happen, because it could happen. There's so much things going on. It's growing so fast, rapidly, and who knows, suddenly hackers get in and steal.
Yeah, Mt. Gox in 2014 was a huge exchange that was hacked massively. So with that said, the government's trying to report people to the IRS through Coinbase, and they're trying with all the other exchanges. It's great for exchanging. I like the exchanges online, but you have to be very careful because this is your money that you're talking about here. But on that point, though, there are a lot of people saying that Bitcoin is a bubble. Now, I'm going to show you a chart on the screen of bubbles throughout history, actually just over the last 20 years or so, and it'll give you a perspective on exactly where Bitcoin is. So, the Japanese asset bubble, $26 trillion. The U.S. Great Recession, $8 trillion. The dot-com bubble, $7 trillion. And all of cryptocurrencies combined, $377 billion. Of course, now that we are doing this video, it's up to about $429 billion. It's growing fast. There's no doubt about it. It's absolute insanity. Yeah. But with that said, though, if you look at that and then you even just take out Bitcoin from that, it's got a 64% dominance right now, which is larger than usual. But all the same, Bitcoin has a $275.9 billion market cap as we do this video. So with that said, the chances of Bitcoin being a bubble are based on the fundamentals of the derivatives markets, these bond markets, these crazy markets that are centralized, that are debt-based, that are absolutely manipulated by the banking system, and Bitcoin is not. I'm going to go into a bit of how there's probably a bit of a pump going on right away in Bitcoin, but I just want to mention that people are freaking out about a bubble, but there is such a small percentage of people in the United States alone that actually own Bitcoin, which shows a massive potential for growth and shows that even at the 7-year average daily rate of growth, by the year 2020, Bitcoin should hit $250,000 for one. That's just speculative. It could go far higher. It could be a bit lower. And yes, there is a big correction coming soon, and people are going to say, look, it's a bubble bursting. Well, people have been telling me that since $900.
Well, actually, me even before, I remember putting my first Bitcoins in at $25 and looking at the first bubble was about $100. And then it popped, and then fund's always that new floor where the adoption rate is just increasing incrementally, and that's the thing. You have these bubbles, and you would always have them where the markets sell off and then they go down again, but then they find a new level, so they always go back up again.
Yeah, but this is based on demand. That's one of the great things. It's not like just manipulated by the banks. And I mean, Bitcoin and things like maybe Ethereum, maybe Dash, to the so-called crypto bubble is like Amazon and Google to the .com bubble. It's not like every website went down. It's not like the internet doesn't exist anymore. The .com bubble was horrible. It was based in a lot of manipulation and overheating of markets. But there were still the big guys that came out, and Bitcoin is still going to be king over the next several months at least. But of course, it's a competing currency market, so you can't predict long-term exactly what's going to happen. But you know that there's a scarcity, the demand, there's new application all the time with these crazy, futures markets. And there's just so much value that's yet to be put into Bitcoin.
Yeah, but looking at you were talking about the dot-com bubble and those who survived. Well, in my world's 6 biggest companies, Amazon, Google, most of them are dot-com companies.
Yeah.
So that should just tell you that new technology, when it comes out, it will always prevail. There's going to be a lot of losers out there, which is when you have almost 2,000 cryptocurrencies as it currently sits. You definitely are going to have that. And also when you go and look at, I've been looking at a lot of the currencies lately that have come up and been bought up. Most of them are pre-mined or they're ICO tokens, so you can't like mine them at all. People can't really get involved. So that's why I see Bitcoin, Litecoin, Dash, and other currencies.
EOS is great.
That let you actually mine them. Which is so important for the populace to get involved and be part of that market, because the miners are what keeps the whole blockchain alive in any blockchain system, no matter what it is. If you implement a blockchain into a government for the land titles, for example, as an idea, you still have to have a mining system or miners, keeping that blockchain alive and keeping it up to date. So you always need miners in the new blockchain technology, and this technology is just gonna go around the world like a craze. And what you will also see is mining efficiency, like power usage efficiency, will most likely drop down as people are starting to invent more, because they are starting to use this and adopt this. And I've also worked with some very interesting people that are promoting something called a bank coin reserve, which is going to literally take over the whole government and the monetary system. Now we're talking about a cashless system here, but I found it interesting. Because what they are doing, it's literally like a massive blockchain ledger that are holding the government not being able to manipulate, or the stock exchanges not being able to manipulate commodity values, and they were coming with gold and silver.
Yeah, you always have to be very careful about centralization and derivatives, of course. When you see gold and silver ETFs, paper ETFs, holding that beach ball down and putting pressure into that, and it's an artificial bear market when it should be bull, since 2012 especially. But with that said, we can't forget about something like Bitcoin Cash either. I don't think we've seen the end of that. There are so many cryptocurrencies, and that's one of the great things about the free market, decentralized, competing currency system, and diversification is key. But I said I'd go into this earlier, so I want to go into it quickly before we wrap this up. I do think that part of this vast amount of value being added to the market are central banks, Federal Reserve, big banks are getting into the market. They'd be crazy not to, especially since they're worthless, moron cartels that have destroyed economies around the world for centuries. There's no doubt that they're going to see, oh, well, we actually have a chance to gain some value for once in our...
Yeah, well, instead of US dollars, they would hold Bitcoin, or actually the central bank in Russia has been buying Bitcoin. We know that.
And Ethereum, yeah.
Yeah, so they've been holding it as reserve assets on their balance sheet. So that just tells you how they, try to get out of the US dollar and other failing currencies and put cryptocurrencies on as a store of value on their balance sheets. That's quite interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. So we will see correction. We will see a massive drop at some point. Well, it's hard to say massive because of the new adoption. Because of the massive adoption, there is less of a chance of a major correction anytime soon, because there's so many new people going to the market that don't know about the market. Yeah. They're putting money in even when it's peaking. I mean, it's been holding it up a bit, but there's also a lot of banks flooding money in. But the market cap is too big at this moment for them to really seriously do a massive pump and dump, because they need tens of billions of dollars to even make a smidgen of an effect on the market, and even then we'll see it bounce back up, because it's decentralized, it's scarcity, it's demand, the fiat system's failing, the derivatives markets are about to come crashing down.
Well, if you took out $10 billion from the market cap of Bitcoin as an example, the price would drop about maybe 3-4%. So that just shows you like how much of a big player they need to be in order to make a dent in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
With newer currencies, it's like complete crazy. Sometimes I've seen some currencies going up 50-60% one day and then going down 40% the other day.
Or some
because,
going
yeah,
up 200%.
Because they're so small. So just a little bit of billion into a market that's nothing. That's gonna just jack the price through the sky. And also with the forks that Bitcoin had with Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Gold, the actual value of Bitcoin, when you think about it, it's not even the 16,000 that we're looking at. It's another, I believe, 1,300 for Bitcoin Cash, and then another 200 something for Bitcoin Gold. So that adds on to that. If you had that and got those forks and sold them, you actually made even more and bought back into Bitcoin. So what you're seeing is this is like a life-changing event that we're watching in front of our eyes here. And we're going to look back at this because this has never happened in history before. A system like this is a system shift. It's like going from bartering to using gold and silver coinage, for example, and going from regular paper fiat, how they went to electronic money. So that's the big vast move that have happened here that we're going to see completely revolutionize the world. In the future.
Absolutely. Milton Friedman predicted this back in the 1990s, this exact same thing happening, and it's nothing short of a revolution, both monetary and political, because it's changing the way that governments can steal from people as well, which is key.
A big part. Steal.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, it's just an incredible market that's springing up, and we are going to see the beginning of billionaire, libertarians and freedom lovers, not just these people whose families have handed down billions of dollars over the years after pillaging and killing people and stealing from people, or these massive corporations with people at the head with billions of dollars that got their money from government subsidization, favorhood, this massive manipulation of the markets in their favor in order to monopolize them. This is going to be coming from the free market, decentralized demand. Bitcoin is going nowhere soon, folks. It's going up, and I think that we're going to see some dips, but hold on, because this is a roller coaster ride, and I can't imagine 2018 is going to be epic. From a $17 billion market cap for all cryptocurrencies in January to, at this moment, as I read this, $429 billion. That is unbelievable, unthinkable, and I think that there's a good chance that our speculations are going to be way undervalued compared to the amount of money that's actually going to be in the system by the end of 2018.
Yeah, well, what we started with was looking at the market caps of the different things in the world. And when you started looking at them and really think about it, you suddenly like, wow, it's possible to go really high.
It's possible for people to make millions and billions of dollars, which is insane. I understand the syndrome of, wow, this market's so overheated, glassy-eyed, throw money at it. Be careful, but I think that this is a monetary revolution that discounts any necessity in the future for an armed revolution, which is a beautiful thing. We can have a revolution that's peaceful, and it'll be like the Soviet Union. It wasn't protests that brought them down. It wasn't other governments that brought them down. It was absolute starvation and destruction of the economy that brought them down because people said, I've had enough.
Yeah, this is taking down the banking system. That's what it does. It's literally starting to drill cracks into the banking foundation that's what Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are doing. And at one point, that foundation is going to collapse.
Yeah. So we have to wrap it up because John has to go and do an interview on mainstream media, CBC, right away. So about Bitcoin. So until next time, thanks for watching, everyone. Keep your fingers crossed. This is Josh Sigurdson and John Sneisen signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth.
Be the change.
Like what you see here at WAM? Don't forget to check the links below. GoFundMe, Patreon. We can't do it without you. Any donation is very much appreciated, especially as we are so overwhelmingly demonetized and censored by YouTube as the Anti-Defamation League comes in and flags all of our content as hate speech. You can also find me at Josh Sigurdson at steemit.com. That's steemit.com, the future of social media, where you get paid in the upvote of your post via Steem, the cryptocurrency. You can also find our Bitcoin address in the description and the comments below, as well as on the screen for you to scan if you please. And don't forget to come on down to Anarchapulco in Acapulco, Mexico in February, one of the best events of the year, and you can save money on your tickets by typing in promo code WAM. That's WAM. We'll leave the link below for you, and until next time, don't forget to subscribe. This is Josh Sigurdson signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change.
Wow.